so. I mean, I think so. It could be. It could be or the same or maybe a little bit higher, but it should be around the same.
Joining us now is former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. He is the Democratic nominee for United States Senate in North Carolina. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Governor. Is there anything you want to disagree with in former Republican Governor Pat McCrory's comments about the total chaos for Republicans created by Donald Trump?
I think he's talking with the same people that I'm talking with in North Carolina. I talked to a man in Scotland County, rural eastern North Carolina town, who has to drive a long commute, paying $60 to fill up his gas tank. That's a lot. We know that people are getting hit hard with grocery prices and utility prices, and they just won't change. We've got a lot of momentum right now, but we have to keep our eye on the ball. I've been around politics in North Carolina for a long time, and I know that this is going to be a tough race. We're going to need people's help. We want them to go to roycooper.com and make sure that we've got the resources to win this race and get it across the finish line.
And Republicans are now pouring massive amounts of money into North Carolina to try to stop you because they see you, Washington Republicans see you as the candidacy that could tip control of the Senate to the Democrats.
Well, my opponent, Michael Whatley, has lobbied for years in Washington for utility companies and for big oil, and they're all coming to his rescue. There are going to be hundreds of millions of dollars that are going to come into North Carolina against me. But we are ready for this because we have the message that we want to make stuff cost less. And I've been going all over the state, rolling out our policies on how we want to reduce the cost of gas and groceries and utilities and childcare and housing. Pender is suffering right now as a farmer from tariffs that this administration has put on him. John, who owns a small business and lives in a home in the mountains, is getting hit with higher utility bills in both places. Meredith is worried about her child, Vivian, who has cerebral palsy, and she's scared to death that all of these attacks on health care from Washington are going to take her Medicaid away. We know that people want a change. They're tired of what's happening in Washington. I feel it across North Carolina, but we know in this state that we haven't done well electing Democrats. We've only had 2 Democrats in almost 40 years elected to the Senate. And the current Republican Senator, Tom Tillis, won twice, but never led and had a statistical lead in a public poll the entire time he ran both elections. So Democrats often are ahead until they're not. And we just need to make sure that we get in there and finish just this job. We need people's help. We need them to volunteer. This is such an important time for our country, and we need to make stuff cost less across the board.
Thanks for that warning on North Carolina polls. Senate candidate Roy Cooper, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.
And coming up, big surprise, the only president ever convicted of 34 felonies wants to pardon everyone who works for him now, as we predicted he would at the beginning of this presidential term. That's next with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. As predicted here at the beginning of this presidential term, Donald Trump is now reportedly promising to pardon everyone who works for him. And of course he is. Under the headline, Trump promises mass pardons to staff before leaving office, the Wall Street Journal reports that Donald Trump said, "I'll pardon everyone who has come within 200 feet of the Oval." Another person who met with Trump earlier this year said the president quipped about pardoning anyone who had come within 10 feet. In one conversation with advisors in the dining room next to the Oval Office last year, Trump said he would host a news conference and announce mass pardons before he left office. Several aides said Trump raises the pardons so regularly that some of his advisors now laugh about it. The president has repeatedly raised the specter of pardons with White House aides and other administration officials, particularly when staff have suggested they could face prosecution or congressional investigations over decisions Joining us now is Democratic Senator